These are the most important items in the entire Create mode. Almost everything in Create mode is made of either brass or andesite alloy, one way or another. And today, we're going to automate both of them. Now, last episode I told you that I'm going to use tuff, crafted, generated tuff to make zinc and copper for my farm. And I have to tell you, I am actually very disappointed in you because none of y'all told me that that is actually a fairly inefficient way of doing this.
I thought we were friends.
Tuff is made out of diorite and andesite and drops gold, copper, zinc, iron at a 10% chance. But here's the thing, to craft up tuff myself out of diorite and andesite, I would have to generate both diorite and andesite, which itself requires me to get nether quartz. And nether quartz only spawns at a 12% chance out of washed soul sand. I mean, it's also available in the nether, I'm not gonna go dig for it, like, I'm not a plebeian. This means that only around 10th block of soul sand will actually help me generate a block of tuff. But after that, only 10th block of tuff is gonna actually generate a zinc nugget. Meaning that for a zinc ingot, I'll need over 1,000 soul sand washed. And I'm actually really disappointed in you because you didn't tell me that there's a much easier way of getting both copper and zinc. I don't know how I never noticed this, but turns out scoria from Create actually has a 25% chance of dropping a zinc nugget when crushed. And scoria is just roasted soul sand, which itself is just haunted sand, which itself is just crushed gravel, which itself is just crushed cobblestone. That means that not only can we bypass the 10%, 12% quartz check that we need, but also we can get double rate of crushing zinc out of scoria compared to everything else. And again, I was hoping that somebody would tell me, because a lot of you actually told me that the lava farm that I have made last episode already exists on the server. Yeah, turns out Wigglesworth already has like an infinite lava supply of his own, and my one is, you know, only the second biggest on the server. But now that we actually waited for it, this is actually a bottomless supply according to Create, meaning that we can pull from it indefinitely, however much we want. So, this entire contraption is just not gonna be useful anymore. I love reclaiming materials like this. So we won't be using the lava to craft andesite or diorite or to craft, well, the stuff. But there is something that I really want to use this lava for, and that is, well, central heating. We will want a lava spout down there, but also lava is what I want to feed to my blaze burners. You can bucket lava pretty easily and then feed it to the blazes, and then use the same bucket to bucket some more lava. It's not a big deal, and it is easily automatable. And I will need a heated blaze burner to melt together brass anyway, so I've decided that it might as well also try and maybe use the heated blazes to power our facility. I mean, it's been a while since I made a boiler, maybe this one will not blow up. But to do any of that, first and foremost, I need to get some lava from up here, from the bottomless supply, to down there, which is where everyone lives, and this thing is at least 22 blocks tall, which kind of sucks, because only 16 blocks is how many blocks the pump is gonna span. I have devised a solution. This might be quite significantly more expensive than just using some pipes, but I at least will have to power fewer pumps this way. But I do wish there was a little bit more to the Creates, like, you know, liquid pressure physics. Or maybe I don't. Liquids are annoying as it is. I don't. Also, like, I don't know why there's just a cow here. I don't know where it came from. And so here's what we're doing. It's 8 pumps pumping lava particles into 8 drills. And cobblestone comes out. Everybody's happy. Except me, who has to actually, you know, generate enough power to get this going. And yep, I am a proud owner of, well, apparently only 2 large water wheels. I guess all the other ones got spent up there. But water wheels take up a lot of space. I am in a perfect opportunity here to use a different technology for once and actually, you know, elevate my machinations. So to hook up all of this to some sort of power, we are going to be going for the boilers. This basically relies on this item, a steam engine, and it is actually more complicated than I, led on to in the previous videos. Because, you see, it's one thing that you obviously can, like, heat it up using a, what's it called? A campfire or an unfurnace blaze burner, that's also an option. So you get 4 of these for the minimal, for the fluid tanks, and then you just stick a motor to the side of it, and voila, you got a boiler. Now it don't have any water in it, and it's not heated that well. But technically, this is a boiler, so let's get some water in it, because I generally forgot that you should have to do that. A couple water wheels later, here we go. We got water, we got size, we got heat, boiler status, passive, because it's not really doing anything. But this is outputting 2000 stress units of kinetic energy, which does not really translate to much. It rotates, is my point. And if I were to fit the blaze under the boiler, a lava bucket, it suddenly now rotates at 16 grand, which is exactly how much this whole contraption is gonna kind of suck up as soon as I put it to the highest speed possible. It's almost as if I planned these things. Wow! The only problem is that naturally, eventually the blaze is gonna run out of fuel. So we do need to keep fueling it using more and more lava buckets, which luckily we can deploy using the deployers into the blazes, basically hand feeding them, and then we can use the brass funnels to feed the lava buckets into the deployers, and then we can use different brass funnels to feed the empty buckets out of the deployer. And you can see how this is a little bit complicated, but also honestly pretty simple. Right, this boy finally ran out of steam, so all we have to do, in theory, is yeet into the contraption a lava bucket, well, a regular bucket, and it becomes a lava bucket, and this funnel is pointing the wrong direction. Not anymore, it isn't. Okay, I guess we're safe to go. On the other hand, they do work through gates, so this is a solution. This is all to say that this thing here is now gonna spin on this speed and on these stress units pretty much forever until the heat death of that lava pit. So if we just extend the reach of it a little bit to where we actually want it to be, then there we go, the pumps are pumping, and there we go, the drills are drilling at 1000 stress units at current speed. And here's something I wanted to try with this particular generator that I've not tried before. Apparently, you can waterlog drills. So I'm gonna try and save up some space on water channels above the thing, because I don't think that the water channels from above are gonna work as well. So as soon as I place this lava, oh dear God, what have I done? Seriously, what have I? Oh, I forgot to put waters. Well, that's first obsidian of this skyblock playthrough. It is not the first obsidian of this skyblock playthrough. Okay, this is gonna get crazy. Let's see how fast we can get the server to shout at us. Pop, 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 pop. Oh, that is great. Okay, I can probably hope for this to not go wrong. I'm gonna now put some water streams into some hoppers and chutes and whatnot, and we're gonna start collecting that for future processing. This may not be a cobblestone generator strong enough to like just support me forever. I will probably have to build another one and then another one and then another one, but for our zinc needs, this better suffice. Oh, and our zinc needs are gonna be like massive. You can use zinc nuggets instead of iron ones, so this is super helpful, and that's why I've been so confident that I'll be able to put both andesite alloy factory and a brass one in here. And yes, I will need to do actual factory around this because, oh my God, this is all ugly. And it's right in my backyard. Okay, cool. This vault right here, this baby can fit so much cobblestone in it. It does not have to. First and foremost, I am putting down a spruce drawer under the thing, and I'm putting a smart chute right over it, so that we now have a little supply of cobble for, for a rainy day, which I suppose is this one. It's that's fun. And we already have 400. Oh my God, this is Now, what are we doing with all that cobble? Well, to try and demonstrate in short, we will be putting the cobblestone through the crushers, pulling out some gravel and putting it into the crushers immediately after. Pulling out sand, putting it into the haunting apparatus, grabbing out soul sand, and frying it using the smelting apparatus. This will return scoria, which we will then immediately put back into the crushers to get our zinc nuggets for approximately every 4th piece of scoria that we get. But naturally, because this is me and I'm very stingy, that's absolutely not it. We will absolutely be also pinching a little bit into the large time storage to get ourselves a steady supply of, well, cobble, gravel, sand, scoria, soul sand. In other words, this goes here, crush, 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 haunt, 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 fry, fry, and finally crush, crush. How am I gonna power any of this? Good question. I'm running out of wood for water wheels, everyone. Oh, and I almost forgot. Hoploink. Lava spout added. Big list of crafting stuff complete. As long as you ignore cutting and the mechanical saw, which I also forgot. Well, this took quite a few water wheels for no good reason. I really could have just made another boiler or even a bigger one. But I just kinda like not having to chug water in there. So this will suffice. Especially because we actually got to save on one contraption. We are currently processing all of this stuff, getting soul sand into scoria, scoria into zinc ingots, and we're not getting scoria into zinc ingots, we're getting scoria into zinc nuggets. And I thought, to get scoria from a nugget to an ingot, I would have to compact it using the mechanical press, which, by the by, eats up a lot of rotational power. But luckily there's these drawers in the mode, so these are very, very convenient, because if you put them down and if you drop a sort of a material, like a metal for example, in them, they don't get just filled up with that metal, they get filled up with variants of them. So now if I put however many let's say copper nuggies in them, those nuggies will immediately get converted into the ingots and then also into the full blocks if I so desire. So this is what we'll need for our copper farm, I guess. And the coolest part is we can also use conveyor belts and funnels to output whichever variant we want. So this is like an autocrafter, but also like an idle one. Because for example, if I decide to stop outputting full zinc ingots and start outputting, I don't know, nuggets instead by the filter, it will do that. It doesn't really care. So we're saving up quite a few RPMs on not having to run one of those smashy things. And also we'll have a second one of these to, you know, to process copper, and also because we want to do andesite alloy as well, we still are gonna need the nuggies. So we just get to add a second brass funnel and a conveyor belt to this. This is incredibly convenient. What's not convenient is that this giant flipping thing, and also this giant flipping thing, is only half of the contraption. We still need to make a copper farm. I wonder how that's gonna go. That's gonna go pretty easily, actually. Copper is basically just limestone ground through a couple of crusher wheels. The only thing that we'll have to concern ourselves with, in theory, is, well, generating limestone at the same approximate speed. Or we don't even have to do that because we can just always stockpile. The limestone itself, by the way, generates basically by the same logic as cobblestone, but instead of water it uses honey. So by some bizarre logic, limestone is honey melted with lava some way or another. And you can see this is Liara's limestone generator, which already produces way too much limestone. Like, you can't see from here, but I've been stealing from there this entire time, and me just being around generated a lot more than I can spend. And our one probably will be faster because I once again want to use the pump to drill to that kind of stuff system. This is gonna get really exciting real fast. The primary reason for this being exciting though is that the sooner I do this, the sooner I get to more or less finish the mechanical part of this project. And I've been here For so long it feels. The stress units, they're starting to pile up. So after the absolute embarrassment that the current infrastructure of this farm is, I have decided that this time around I actually want to not have to build extra generators. Which is why we are doing an entire underground feeding network for the blazes. Okay, listen. Since I already needed a blaze burner activated to mix together brass, I realized that I might as well make a double blaze burner boiler for this side of the contraption. But also, that double blaze also still needs to get fed lava. Which is why we have this entire whole thing with a single lava spout. And it's slow as heck. I'm a level with you. I have no bloody idea if it's actually gonna work. And we're not gonna find out that quickly. Logically speaking, this system should accept all the empty buckets, fill them up with lava, which I see is happening. And we are activating. Aha. Yeah, it's definitely not speedy, but here's the thing. The deployers can't really give a blaze that's already activated another lava bucket, which means that we only really need 2 lava buckets per blaze burner in here. One goes directly into the thing, and one goes next into the conveyor and into the arm. And the best part, of course, is that I now get to cover it up and never look at it again. Crowd law. This is embarrassingly slow. This is why I keep calling this entire system central heating, okay? I love hiding pipes in walls. So here we'll be actually doing a 2x2 boiler, because whether I like it or not, we actually cannot output more than 16 grand of RPM, of stress power, onto one steam engine. Turns out, basically at this level, each arm will be outputting precisely that. And when I say will, I mean obviously it will after I remember to actually provide the stupid thing with water. Why? Why do I keep forgetting to do that? Okay, this took forever, but I did get... Oh, it looks so silly. It's like a stupid can robot doing like a little with the shoulders. What was I talking about? I did get the boiler now to where each arm is outputting 16 grand of stuffs. Now 16 of them are obviously gonna be used up on the lime generation. Another 16 are going to just kind of spread around the rest of the farm, because we have a nice couple of crushers to look forward to, and the problem with those is that at a full speed, which is how fast I want them to run, they require 2000 stress units each. And since we did have, you know, this entire thing set up, I'm thinking we could totally try and actually get multiple crushers, you know, being output for a single limestone farm. Primarily because the limestone output of copper, I mean, it's not super great. It's 1/4. It's pretty respectable. That's pretty cool. But even then, just speeding it up for any purpose would probably be a good idea. Because unlike zinc, copper is actually very useful for many other things. And then I'm pretty sure that we can craft stuff out of zinc and create. Yep. It gives this like nicer greenish color. So I should probably leave a place for zinc access somewhere in here as well. And this is why we're saving all the intermediate runoff, because look at that, I ran out of glass and I just have a bunch of sand just waiting for me right there. Because obviously we can smelt sand into glass automatically. I don't have to lug it around to the crafting station every single time. And then soul sand can be washed into nether quartz and gold nuggets. And then quartz can be combined into andesite and diorite. It's a whole thing, this mod, I tell you. And honey would be an issue, but luckily Liara has an entire farm for that stuff. And yeah, you would figure, right, that getting honey block into a bucket is actually frustratingly hard, given you need to melt it using like a flipping blaze burner and stuff. But turns out I can just empty out the honey bottles into a drain and then use a spout to fill from that drain into a bucket again. It is actually really nice how many ways you can do stuff in this mod. Unfortunately, I will need 8 of these buckets now. So that's gonna take flipping forever. There's not some kind of beast steroids in the game, huh? Is there? Hey there, do you know if there's beast steroids in the game?
If there's what?
I need 7 buckets of honey. If you know how to milk bees really fast, I would very much appreciate it.
I mean, we could switch some of these out for bottles or... Wait. I've got... Here. There. Grab your honey. I forgot that I kind of have a tank of it here. It's only got like 10 buckets in it, but that's enough for you.
Yeah, that's more than enough, thanks.
You're welcome.
I forgot that we can use basins like that.
Yay, it's going to use. Yeah, I accidentally made myself a bucket of chocolate yesterday.
Oh.
So...
Yeah, that does look like liquid poop.
I've learned a lot
whatsoever.
about basins. What do you need that much honey for anyway?
Limestone generator. Come on. You know how your one's overproductive?
Yeah, and it's only got 2 honey sources involved in it.
Yeah. I actually am not sure if
limestone.
I'm gonna be eating it.
What?
I'm grinding it down.
Okay. Yeah, you did tell me that limestone could grind into copper.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna like adapt my limestone farm to have some grinders. But I guess if you're building a whole thing for it, geez.
Okay, there's gotta be a lever somewhere in here. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Dang. You seeing this?
Yeah. Yeah, it's booking it. Jeez.
So what you thinking? 2 pairs of grindstone wheels at the very least, right?
I'm not even sure if 2 will keep up with it. They're gonna have to be going top speed.
I mean, yes, I am preparing for the top speed. That's why I got my Mr. Shaky Hands over here. By which I mean the boiler.
Alright, you've got a proper boiler.
I can just make indefinitely heated blaze burners now.
Yeah, I saw that you were making like power lines out of it, and I thought that was interesting. I said that maybe we should use them for parkour. I don't know.
Hidden parkour course through the central heating lines.
Yeah.
What a concept.
Well, if these are going to be strung around the whole city anyway, you know.
Now, I wanted to do basically the same thing with the cobblestone generator as well, so I don't know if this actually is going to work. But I just duct tape the crushers directly to the limestone jenny, and if I just add brass funnels, yup, they're going. They're definitely going. The funniest part, by the by, is that I could even put another one down here, but because the crusher wheels are going the wrong direction, I'm not sure it's gonna get crushed. Actually, I'm not sure that these are getting crushed either, because there's no particles, I don't think. No, wait. There are! Look! There's items piling up down there. So this one's the only one that's not really working. So this is gonna be not needed. And of course we'll have a stockpile for the limestone as well, because it is actually a really nice material to work with. But right now we just need to organize some sort of material pickup and deliver it all the way down here, where we can finally mix it up, get our brass, and somehow deliver it to where, you know, it actually can be, you know, someone will give a crap about it, because this is way too deep into the facility for me to trust anyone to enter. Okay, I hope you're ready, because this is the dramatic reveal of the entire thing. We're gonna release this clutch, kicking in the cobblestone generator, meaning that cobblestone is now pumping into this giant tub, then being promptly evacuated into the crushers, the grinders, the hunters, the everything. The zinc is being produced, and overproduced because we have a stockpile. Over here, I'm unclutching this clutch, or rather I get a footstool and then I unclutch that clutch. Okay, this is really weird, because not only is none of the limestone generating, but also I can barely move my head there is a significant frame lag. Oh, I might have nuked it a little bit too hard, everyone. I can't hope that, like, the game is doing the calculations or something, because the copper nuggets that are supposed to be on this conveyor belt, I can't even see. But every now and again, there's just a piece of sand that blasts by and crashes into the retainer wall. Meanwhile, we are slowly but surely getting copper nuggets into the system. Yeah, I think it's the like 11,000 speed of the conveyor belt that's really messing this up. And yeah, I think I figured out why there's no copper in the system. Because it's all went into brass. We have 15 brass just chilling in the basin now. That is great. Now we might want to get another conveyor belt and all the way up, somewhere right here, where we have a little bit of a line of the output materials forming. But the trouble is that for this thing here to actually kick in, I actually had to disable the cobblestone generator. I guess together they're just too powerful for like the world to handle. Point is, maybe I am causing a little bit too many block updates. Sure feels that way. Anyway, there's another 16 brass ingots in this, 18 brass ingots in this. I should definitely be outputting these into somewhere where they're more visible. And I'm just gonna let this drawer chill here until we can figure out some sort of more accessible way to display our brass supply. Really, there's a lot of extra precaution that we could put right now onto this farm. For one, there is definitely a way to make it so that we can actually have the cobblestone generator and the limestone one never turned on at the same time. I just need to determine what kind of a logic behind that I want. Right now we're all running on zinc, so obviously we want to generate all the copper we can. Basically the generators could take turns. But also we have the logistical challenge of getting everything delivered from everywhere into one more or less coherent system without also clogging everything up or triggering a situation where both farms are gonna run forever. Because that's another thing. These clutches were installed specifically so I can eventually tune stuff off when we have created enough brass for the community. Other than that, I'm actually very impressed with myself, because brass to this day still feels super endgamey to me. And yet here it is, being produced in infinite capacity, potentially. I mean, this drawer is not gonna fit more than 2048 until we upgrade it. But it's not about that right now, okay? So, what remains of this project right now is actually incredibly ambitious still, because you see, I am really happy with producing the brass, I'm super happy with producing everything else, but there's still more that I want to get from this farm, particularly from that cobble generator. If you remember, at the beginning of the video I promised that we'll be automating andesite as well. So, here's the thing about that. Andesite can be made itself by the two very interesting ingredients, the two recipes. You can absolutely mix it, compact it in a basin using gravel, flint and lava, which naturally we have infinite supply of all of that right now. So that wouldn't be that hard to make, but here's the trick about that right now is I simply don't have space for that with all my giant water wheels. It would actually be pretty dope to like build an entire second floor of the facility. I just realized, oh my god, that would be so cool! But here's another thing about that is I don't actually want to go that route in the first place. Andesite has a separate recipe, actually from vanilla Minecraft, and that can be mixed right here with automated shapeless crafting. Diorite cobblestone gives you andesite, and if that was it, I would be doing that right now, but here's the trick about diorite, for some stupid reason. Not only is it made of quartz, which is, relatively expensive material, blah 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 blah, have infinite amount of it. For some reason, this is a shaped recipe. We can't just use a mixer for it, we will need automated crafters. A 2x2 grid, and they are notoriously a headache-inducing thing to be crafting. So I'm afraid that that's gonna be like a whole entire separate chapter. but we will definitely be rigging it to this same farm. To top all that off, I still need to install the logic modules and whatnot to figure it out, and while I'm here, here's what I realized. These are redstone links. They are essentially wireless redstone. Long story short, this is a receiver, this is a transmitter. If the transmitter is activated, the receiver becomes activated as well. They have two spots, blue and red, and each of them allows you to basically set up the filter. So if I have multiple redstone link networks going around, I can just have it so that they don't interfere with each other. More so, if Silent has one and I have one, we each can make them custom. But here's the thing. Even though there's a lot of items in this game, there's only so many items that people are going to just have on hand to set up the redstone link, which is why I decided to go for my favorite thing in the entire game and make a written book. This is Zloy Passport. Zloy Redstone Link Encryption Protocol. So how does this work? Well, and I need to test this out because I'm pretty sure that I've not yet. So we swap one of these materials for Zloy Passport, meaning that like this is Zloy's farm, hands off. This naturally will transmit because both items are identical. But if we disable that and swap the receiver for our second written book, you know, the not Zloy Passport one, Korchungus, it continues to work. Crying out loud, why? Why are you like this? Yeah, this is very disappointing because I genuinely thought that that would work. All the other filters do discern between the metadata, so maybe I could get it to work? I don't know. Okay, listen, I thought that this would work because that's how placards do. I never explained the placards. Okay, let's go explain the placards real quick. We'll have to make one, but it's fine. It's just an item frame with some brass. It's not like we have a shortage of brass. Well, not anymore, we don't. It is like deeply messed up that I have infinite brass, but like I'm limited on andesite alloy. I mean, I know that Pigglesworth has a farm for it, but it's like miles away. I can't be bothered. So a placard is basically just a fun way of displaying an item. There we go. But here's the thing about that. When you have a placard, and this is apparently like a lesser known feature. When you have a placard, you can put an item in it, right? And then if you right-click that placard with that item, it outputs a redstone signal. So it basically functions as a lock, if you really want to. You could make secret inputs with it. You could make just like locks and stuff. And here's what I had an idea for like a while ago, because I just thought that it would be like really technological and stuff. Is what we could do is we could have across the city placards with like passports engraved in them. And that good job, Lloyd. That's my only book. So yeah, when you got a copy of original of the book, you can't really fake more copies of original, right? Meaning that we can just make a certain number of, like, we can issue these passports, right? As like the mayor of the city. And then, if there's a placard with a passport, we just right click on it and look, it works. And if we got a different book, it doesn't. Even more so, if I grab the original of this, I'm pretty sure, yep, that even that doesn't work because it's the original, it's not a copy of original. And so a copy of a copy won't trigger it as well. And because the placards are so fiddly, that's why I thought that the redstone links would be as well. But apparently they aren't. I'll just need to come up with an item that no one would dare use in the vicinity. Would that be just a written book, is my question. And I think, yes, it's fine, because nobody remembers that they exist. And that's very sad, because I love them. Anyway, this project is rapidly approaching its final stage. You'd think it already did, because this is a brass farm, and it now is making brass. But the answer as to why we're not calling this giant, stupid bugger of thing complete is specifically because I am very greedy. And it's not enough for me to just have all of this. I also want a quartz output, I want a diorite output, I want a granite output, and I want a separate andesite output. And then we get that andesite, we mix it with zinc, and we get our infinite andesite alloy. That is not what Pigglesworth did with his farm, so you can't tell me that I'm copying him. And for the time being, written book Lime, written book Cobblestone, turn off this boy, turn off this boy, and I bid you good night.